At number 10, bribes. At this point, we all know that the Kardashians have a my way or the highway kind of attitude. They will get what they want by any means necessary, and we've seen this a few times over the Kardashians' respective careers, but one of the lesser known times that this sort of attitude came out was when Kris Jenner was trying to save her short-lived talk show. Mama Jenner dreamed of being a talk show host, but those dreams were sort of crushed when her talk show premiered in the summer of 2013. She got a series of reviews, and when she read them, she came across one that she really didn't like. One reviewer named Linda Stassi from the New York Post wrote a column about the show and called Kris a quote, demented Norma Desmond, end quote. Well, because Kris didn't like what Linda had wrote about her, she decided to send the writer a bribe of a dozen Magnolia cupcakes and a $325 sterling silver pen from Tiffany's, along with a note saying to write a better review next time. In the end though, this bribe didn't actually work because her show was cancelled not long after. At number 9, sweatshops. The Kardashians have faced backlash and scandal many times in the past, so really they're nothing new, but one of their more extreme scandals came from when one of their many clothing brands got exposed. In 2011, a Kardashian clothing brand came under fire after it was revealed that the garments were being produced by Chinese workers being paid 8 cents a day. Can you imagine these millionaires paying workers 8 cents? Insane, right? A non-profit organization called China Labor Watch, a group that fights sweatshops, released this information during investigation into the Kardashian brand. Of course, Mama Jenner came in and stepped in, and she claimed that they didn't know anything about that, going on to say, quote, "The factories are very well policed and meet factory standards," end quote. No one is talking about the factory standards, Kris. We're talking about basically not paying people for making clothes that you're about to sell for $100 a piece. That's the tea. Before we carry on dishing about the Kardashian secrets though, why not take a quick moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, maybe consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Kardashian divorce. Remember when Kim K was married to Kris Humphries? Yeah, that was kind of a blip in the Kardashian timeline, but hey, it still happened. They were only married for 72 days, but it was still messy, and their subsequent divorce was just as messy. The cameras for their show Keeping Up with the Kardashians showed off much of their tumultuous marriage, but the cameras were ultimately cut when it came to their divorce, but it wasn't for lack of trying. Kim wanted to film her goodbye call with Kris over Skype, where she was going to say her final farewells and tell him that she really loved him. But Kris saw right through Kim's attempt to get content out of their divorce and flat out refused, saying that he refused to ever be on another episode ever again. Honestly, I can't blame him for making that decision. At number 7, Nanny knows. The Kardashians have been exposed for a lot over the years by countless people. Honestly, this could be its own video in and of itself, if we haven't already done that. Anyways, one of the people that joined the Exposing the Kardashians club was the family's former nanny. The nanny, a woman named Pam Behan, exposed Kris for her parenting. Although Kris looks like a cool, fun mom, almost acting like one of the Kardashian sisters rather than a parent, according to the nanny, that is all a charade and couldn't be farther from the truth. Turns out that Kris was actually a really mean mom. She said that all of the girls were really shallow and even exposed Kris for being mean to Khloe and criticizing her for being overweight. On top of that, according to the nanny, Kris was also a stickler for healthy foods, saying that she was obsessed with keeping produce in the house, and she even exposed her for having a meltdown when she forgot to pick up broccoli. Now that is a very different side of Kris Jenner that we never get to see. At number 6, private investigator. Back to past Kardashian relationships, remember when Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom were a thing? Yeah, super messy, as most Kardashian marriages tend to be, but this one was ultra messy because it turns out that at one point, Khloe hired a private investigator to follow Lamar around to watch if he was cheating on Khloe. This was something that we didn't get to see on the family's reality show, but apparently the private investigator was hired to catch Lamar with at least 5 different mistresses. But why put all this effort into a supposed cheater? Well, it turns out that there was a specific clause in their prenuptial agreement that if one of them was caught cheating, then the divorce settlement payout would be larger to the other party. This means that with the help of her private investigator, Khloe would be able to get a higher settlement in the divorce. The things people do for money. At number 5, who started the show? The family's reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians has been on air for so long that it almost feels like it has been on TV forever. Obviously, it wasn't actually on TV since like the beginning of time, but it was certainly a staple in a lot of people's homes. This show really boosted the careers of all of the Kardashians, but who had the original idea for the show? Well, that's up for debate. According to Caitlyn Jenner, she wrote in her book that she was the one who came up with the initial idea for the reality show, not Kris, as many were led to believe. In the memoir, Caitlyn wrote that she told Kris about her idea for the show, saying, quote, "The house is awash in puberty and adolescence and young adulthood, and two parents with very different styles. It seems to me something is there for television." End quote. She then goes on to say that Kris then claimed to have come up with the idea for the show and then took it upon herself to pitch the show to Ryan Seacrest, and the rest is history. Talk about starting things off on a sour note. At number 4, always perfect. Kylie and Kendall Jenner are the babies of the Kar Jenner clan, and they were pretty young when they started to rise to fame. Because the cameras were always on them, and because they were starting to gain notoriety on their own, their mom Kris decided that they needed to look perfect at all times to make themselves and the family look better in the eyes of the media. In an interview with Cosmopolitan in 2017, Kylie opened up about this dynamic in her young life and revealed that Kris Jenner had nail techs come to the house every week to do the girls' nails to make sure that they looked as perfect as possible. Kylie said that because this was ingrained in her from such a young age, that this just became a habit of hers even going into her adult life, which is why we see Kylie flexing her new nails on the gram. In the interview, she went into further detail about having to look put together all the time, where she said, quote, "My mom would make us do it. She would have a nail artist come to the house once a week. She would make us get our nails done. She was like, you are never going to look like you're not put together, so we're always getting them done." End quote. At number 3, fake homes. You know how on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, when they start a new scene, a new place, they show the front of the person's house? Well, it turns out that's kind of a lie. The houses that they show in the reality show aren't actually the Kardashians' real houses. In the beginning, they used to show the front of the Kardashians' houses, but soon it became a safety issue as it made it easy for people to find them. Kim opened up about why they decided to use fake houses instead of their real exteriors, saying, quote, "My old home in Beverly Hills was really my home, and I would get people showing up at all hours ringing my gate, and I had to call the police on several occasions. People hopping the gate and scaring me. It was so unsafe. The Hollywood Star Tours would stop by too because they recognized my home from our show. After that, we realized how unsafe it was to show the exterior of our homes, so now we use different homes for the outside for security purposes." Though they do use different homes as the exterior shots, Kim did confirm that they do actually film inside of their real houses. At number 2, original goal. Keeping Up with the Kardashians became a mega hit where people just tuned in to watch the drama unfold with the Kar Jenners. I would be lying if I said that this show wasn't secretly my guilty pleasure. It's just so chaotic and I love it. But it turns out that the original purpose for the show wasn't just to simply keep up with the Kardashians. They had ulterior motives. According to Mama Kris Jenner, the original purpose for the show was to bring attention to the Kardashians' clothing stores Dash and Smoosh. Their store Dash became the focal point for their reality show spin-offs like Kourtney and Khloe Take Miami and Dash Dolls. During an interview with Variety in 2015, Kim shared how they wanted to use the show to grow their business, saying, quote, "When the opportunity for our TV show came about, I wanted to do it to bring attention to our stores. I was thinking this might not last very long, but will grow a great business and expand online. I thought it would be great press. I didn't think it would turn into what it turned into." End quote. Their stores ended up closing in 2018, but at that point they had so many other things going on and the show wasn't even boosting their business anymore, so really, who cares? And finally, at number 1, new phones. Even a pandemic can't stop the Kardashians from creating content. The 19th season of the reality show was filmed over the course of the lockdown, and it was all done from the inside of the Kardashians' mansions. How they managed to pull all of this off is a little crazy though. Because camera crews weren't considered to be essential workers during California's stay-at-home orders, the Kardashians had to get creative, and so they created a system where every week someone would bring them a new iPhone to film on. They had proper sets built in Kim and Khloe's homes with lighting and the whole 9 yards for their confessionals, but yeah, I still can't get past the iPhone thing. Apparently, a showrunner wearing head-to-toe protective gear would come to the Kardashians' home on Monday morning to bring them a brand new iPhone to start the next cycle of filming. At number 10, Taylor Swift. Back in 2016, Kanye released a song called Famous that featured a lyric involving Taylor Swift that turned out to be quite controversial. Kanye's lyric essentially claimed that he and Taylor would have an intimate relationship because he made her famous. The fame in reference being to the VMA scandal. Remember that? Long time ago. still in our memories. When the song was first released, Kanye said that he called Taylor before dropping the song to make sure that the lyric was okay and said it got her approval, but later Taylor's publicist came out to say that she was never made aware of the lyric, saying that he made her famous. After Kanye was called out for lying, Kim K came out saying that she recorded the whole conversation and it showed that Taylor was actually made aware of the song, and so Taylor was called out for lying instead. Finally, a new chapter has come out which reveals that Kanye never disclosed the entire lyric to Taylor, and so that's why she called him out. This back and forth between Taylor and Kanye basically ended up with Taylor exposing the rapper for lying and warning us about the lengths that he and his wife will go to save their asses, even if they're wrong. At number 9, Chris Evans. I'm sure we're all familiar with Kanye's support for Donald Trump, at least before he decided to run for president himself. Kanye was seen sporting a MAGA hat in 2018 in a post on Twitter, followed by a tweet where he said, quote, "This represents good and America becoming whole again. We will no longer outsource to other countries. We build factories here in America and create jobs. We will provide jobs for all who are free from prisons as we abolish the 13th Amendment. Message sent with love," end quote. Well, after Chris Evans saw this and had to speak up. Denouncing Kanye's political beliefs and ideals, Chris tweeted a reply to the rapper's tweet where he said, quote, "There's nothing more maddening than debating someone who doesn't know history, doesn't read books, and frames their myopia as a virtue. The level of unapologetic conjecture I've encountered lately isn't just frustrating, it's retrogressive, unprecedented, and absolutely terrifying." Chris essentially warned us about Kanye's political beliefs as he called them absolutely terrifying, which they were, seeing as Kanye said that he wanted to abolish the amendment, which abolished slavery. At number 8, John Legend. After another Twitter rampage about how much he supported Donald Trump, Kanye was getting some backlash from celebrities like Ice-T and Stephen Colbert, as well as John Legend. In a series of tweets from the singer, John spoke about how there are too many people in the world to ignore the presence of racism in society, seemingly pointing the finger at Kanye and his support of Trump's MAGA campaign. John went on to say, quote, "I love that great, brilliant artists have the power to imagine a better future, but artists can't be blind to the truth," and ending his Twitter speech by saying, quote, "The defining trait of Trump's campaign and political profile was his embrace of white supremacy. He made it clear every time he spoke, some serious cognitive dissonance to ignore that for the others you might find appealing," end quote. John seemingly condemned Kanye's support of Trump and how he was essentially fighting against the lives of so many Black Americans, and warned his fans about how dangerous this mindset can be. At number 7, Kim Kardashian. This summer, as Kanye West went on a Twitter rant about his wife Kim, mother-in-law Kris, and even his kids, all eyes were on him and his family because of some of the things he was saying. It was believed that Kanye was suffering from some sort of manic episode as a result of his bipolar disorder. Kim Kardashian released a statement to address his recent online behavior where she said, quote, "He is a brilliant but complicated person who, on top of the pressures of being an artist and a Black man who experienced the painful loss of his mother, has to deal with the pressure and isolation that is heightened by his bipolar disorder. Those who are close with Kanye know his heart and understand his words sometimes do not align with his intentions," end quote. Her statement about her husband's mental health was sort of a heads up to fans as well as the media that Kanye was experiencing a lot at this time and that his actions are sometimes taken out of hand because of his mental illness. It wasn't necessarily a warning, but more so some important information about the rapper as to not judge him too harshly. Kim's statement told us that he has this trouble sometimes and that we should be patient with him at times like these. At number 6, Kris Jenner. Back in 2016, after a bout of controversial tweeting and public scandals, Kris Jenner warned her kids to stay away from Kanye. 2016 was a tumultuous year for the rapper as he got into a number of Twitter beefs and was even hospitalized for a psychiatric emergency. Well, in an effort to distance her family from Kanye's drama, she advised her youngest daughters, Kendall and Kylie, to stay away from him and to not trust him. An insider told sources that, quote, "Kris has advised her daughters to not discuss any upcoming business opportunities or deals with Kanye, saying the less he knows the better." Kris was afraid that Kanye would try and make Kendall and Kylie doubt their business deals, make them feel guilty about their decisions, and give them bad advice. One of the reasons why Kris was so adamant about keeping her daughter's business away from Kanye is because earlier that year the rapper went on a Twitter rant about Kylie and her potential business deal with the brand Puma, where he said, quote, "1000% there will never be a Kylie Puma anything. That's on my family. 1000% Kylie is on Yeezy team." Kylie's partnership with the brand was almost ruined because of this, and so Mama Kris made sure that it would never happen again. At number 5, Lorde. In 2018, singer Lorde accused Kanye West of stealing her stage design. This was in response to a stage design that Kanye and Kid Cudi used for a performance at a music festival that summer that was pretty much identical to what Lorde used at her 2017 Coachella performance. The performers used an identical transparent box suspended over the stage as a focal point for their concerts, and Lorde was not having it. Lorde spoke out about Kanye's creative theft, saying, quote, "I'm proud of the work I do, and it's flattering when other artists feel inspired by it to the extent that they choose to try it on themselves, but don't steal, not from women or anyone else, not in 2018 or ever," end quote. She warned him against stealing, but also seemingly warned other artists about his stealing, since this wasn't a new thing for Kanye. In the past, he's also been accused of similar plagiarism from 9 Inch Nails, and Taylor Swift has also commented on his stage design in her song Look What You Made Me Do. At number 4, Obama. Shortly after Kanye announced in 2015 that he would be running for president in 2020, then President Barack Obama had some thoughts on the matter. While speaking at a fundraising event, Obama poked fun at Kanye's presidential dreams, where he gave him some advice, like telling him he needs to, quote, "be cool with dealing with strange characters who behave like they're on a reality TV show," an obvious reference to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. He also poked fun at Kanye's outspoken nature in reference to his Twitter rampages, as well as his background of being a, quote, "black guy from the south side of Chicago with a funny name." Though it was all supposed to be jokes, there was also a message behind Obama's bit which sort of warned the American people against voting for someone like Kanye, because he can't be taken seriously, especially in the world of politics. We saw this over this past summer at his campaign rally where things got out of hand, so maybe Obama was right. At number 3, Amber Rose. In October 2020, Kanye's ex Amber Rose came out in an interview accusing the rapper of bullying her for the past 10 years. She spoke out about her experience dating Kanye for 2 years, calling him a narcissist, and talking about how he's been speaking badly about her publicly for the past decade. She warned others about getting too close to the rapper, saying that unlike her, he has no compassion and attacks people. Going on to reference how he said he needed 30 showers after being with her, she called him out on that, inferring that this was not his mindset back when they were together, and saying that he, quote, "says things to make his wife more comfortable." The interview sort of pulls back the curtains on their relationship and shows how Amber has been dealing with it since they broke up in 2010. The fact that even though they've been apart for 10 years, she still gets bullied by him shows that Kanye has a mean side, and by coming forward about this, she's warning other people about getting too cozy with Kanye. Knowing this, it will be interesting to see what Kim might say after they get divorced. At number 2, Drake. In 2018, Drake called Kanye out for backstabbing and betraying his trust, and he warned others about Kanye's schemes to use others for his own gain. In an interview, Drake spoke out about his beef with Kanye and how Kanye leaked some of his personal information, as well as being used by Kanye to make his album. Drake said that Kanye invited him to Wyoming, where he convinced Drake to tell him some stuff about one of his upcoming albums. They bonded, and Kanye gave Drake the song Lift Yourself, which he later released himself. Drake also told Kanye about his then secret son, Adonis. When rapper Pusha T released a song accusing Drake of not writing his own songs, he felt hurt and blamed Kanye for this leak, and when he pushed back, another song was released telling the story about Drake's son. This information was given to Kanye in secret, so he knew that he'd been betrayed. Now he and other artists know better than to trust Kanye. And at number 1, Kanye. This one might be a bit of a stretch, but just go with me on this one. I believe Kanye has been warning us about himself. Over the years, he's written songs that essentially paint him as someone with a god complex and a natural-born leader. Years ago, we would have thought that this meant that he thinks he's better than everyone else and that his music is superior. He and some fans see him as a pioneering force in the rap world, so maybe this thought came about because of the imagery that he created with his music, painting himself as such a lively force. But now, I think he's been warning us of something much bigger. Kanye knew that he was destined for greatness, but we didn't know what his plans were until now. He has his sights set on the White House, and what bigger title is there in America than president, the ultimate leader? Kanye tried running in 2020 and will try again in 2024, so maybe this is what he's been warning us about all this time, of talking himself up. He's called himself the new Moses and says that he will lead his people out of the struggle. He's advocating for musicians owning their rights to their music, so maybe this is just the beginning of Kanye really acting on the leadership role that he's been hyping up for so long.
In at number 10, Ray J. Kanye and Ray J have been in a long-running feud surrounding Ray J's former relationship with Kim Kardashian and their infamous adult tape. The feud reignited recently after Kanye claimed that he got a second copy of the tape from Ray J and saved Kim from that embarrassment. Kanye has also called out Ray J in a number of songs. In 2016, he rapped, quote, "I bet me and Ray J would be close friends if we didn't like the same woman. Yeah, he might have hit it first, only problem is I'm rich." Allegations were made by Ray J's former manager, Whack 100, on a podcast that there was a part 2 of their tape that Ray J still owned. Both Kim and Ray J shot down these rumors, but they were brought up once again by Kanye. Kanye told Hollywood Unlocked, quote, "I went and I got the laptop from Ray J myself that night. I met this man at the airport, then got on a red-eye flight, came back and delivered it to her at 8 a.m. in the morning." Ye went on to say that after he delivered the laptop to Kim, she cried when she saw the footage. However, it doesn't look like that's true, because Kim's team later clarified that there was no other unseen footage on the recently acquired tape, and Kanye was basically lying. Ray J also spoke out against Kanye, who unnecessarily brought up this frustrating topic once again. He wrote on Twitter, quote, "This needs to stop, I also have kids." And at number 9, Drake. This is easily Kanye's most notorious feud that came to a head once again in 2021, during the recent release of both of their albums. Back in 2009, these two were friends and often spoke of how much they respected one another's work. But sadly, over time that started to change, and the pair started taking shady digs at one another, like when Drake started dating Amber Rose shortly after her and Kanye split. But things looked good once again in 2015, when they collaborated on a Big Sean song and even hinted at a collaboration album. But things got tense once again in 2018 when Pusha T released his diss track Infrared, which Kanye produced. The song accused Drake of having a ghostwriter. Then shortly after, Pusha dropped the story of Adidon, which exposed that Drake had a love child. The pair got into another feud when Drake seemingly referenced Kim Kardashian on one of his songs and did not deny the hookup rumors. Things were turned up once again in 2021 after Drake dissed Kanye on a song. In response, Kanye doxed Drake and shared the exact location of Drake's Toronto home. This resulted in both of their albums getting a ton of press for their releases. So honestly, maybe it was all for show. And at number 8, Travis Scott. This feud is even more awkward considering the family connection between Travis and Kanye. In 2018, Kanye dragged Travis into his long-standing feud with Drake. Travis had posted a selfie on Instagram wearing a Nike sweatshirt, which Kanye felt was a betrayal because Kanye had a business relationship with Adidas, who is a huge competitor of Nike's. The feud continued when Drake and Travis collaborated on Travis' hit song, Sicko Mode. And there are lyrics in the song about preferring checks over stripes, aka Nike's signature logo, to Adidas's. And this of course upset Kanye. Kanye later tweeted, quote, "How are you gonna be on Travis' song coming at me? Trav should have never allowed that." He later added, "Meeting with Trav tonight, bet it never be checks over stripes line again on a Travis song." Kylie later confirmed the feud had been settled when she tweeted, quote, "Everyone is good, moved on, living life. For anyone who wasn't aware, Travis has a deal with Nike and still does. Point is, it's all been talked out, it's only positive energy." And at number 7, Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig is best known as the lovable cartoon for kids, but she decided to throw some major shade Kanye's way after he released his highly anticipated album, Donda. Pitchfork initially rated Peppa Pig's sophomore album, Peppa's Adventures, the album, a 6.5 in 2021, while the site gave Kanye West only a 6 for his album Donda. So it's clear from these numbers, Peppa is the better artist, right? She thought so too and decided to inform Kanye about her album rating on Twitter. Peppa's team wrote, quote, "Peppa didn't need to host listening parties in Mercedes-Benz Stadium to get that .5, showing pictures comparing both of their Pitchfork scores. The internet was set ablaze by this tweet, and everyone could not believe that Peppa would call out Kanye like that. Shockingly, Kanye did not respond to this call out, even though he responds to almost everything said about him. Honestly, I'm not sure how he would even respond to those cold hard facts. And at number 6, Jay-Z. This feud is really sad because beforehand, Kanye and Jay-Z were incredibly close and would even consider themselves to be family. But after Kanye had one too many outbursts, Jay felt it was best for him to no longer have Kanye in his life. Some tension between the two developed when Jay-Z did not attend Kanye's wedding to Kim Kardashian. Then during his Pablo tour, Kanye lashed out at Jay-Z on stage. He said, quote, "Don't call me after the robbery and say, 'How are you feeling?' You wanna know how I'm feeling? Come by the house. Bring the kids by the house like we're brothers, let's sit down." Jay-Z clapped back on album 444, where he rapped, quote, "I know people backstab you, I feel bad too, but this F everybody attitude ain't natural. But you ain't the same, this ain't kumbaya, but you got hurt because you did kumbaya. You gave him 20 million without blinking. He gave you 20 minutes on stage, F was he thinking." Exposing that he gave Kanye $20 million when he was broke. Halfway number 5, Taylor Swift. We all know about the epic feud between Taylor and Kanye that has only gotten worse with time. It all started on September 13th of 2009 at the VMAs. Taylor went up to accept her award when Kanye ran up on stage, stole the mic, and said, quote, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you, I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time." This horrible decision led to the decade-long feud. The next day, Kanye apologized, but then later rescinded this apology, claiming he'd been forced into this apology. After a few years of no drama, the pair seemed to be friendly again. But that all changed when Kanye dropped his Life of Pablo. In the song Famous, Kanye referenced Taylor, saying they might still sleep together and calling her the B-word. Amid public outcry, Kanye's wife, Kim Kardashian, posted videos of Taylor and Kanye discussing the song, with the latter sounding like she approved it. After a year of disappearance in August of 2017, Taylor responded with the track Look What You Made Me Do. The pair's fans still fight over who was wrong in this situation, but it's clear this feud will never be resolved. And at number 4, Amber Rose. The public feud that Kanye had with his ex, Amber Rose, has to be the messiest because a lot of family secrets were exposed. It all started in 2008 when the couple started seeing each other. The pair were together for 2 years before splitting in 2010. Tensions really started brewing when she dated Wiz Khalifa right after, and they ended up getting married. After they split, Tyga started dating Kylie Jenner, which means nothing until you learn that China and Amber Rose are best friends. So Amber was involved in the feud with the Kar-Jenner family. Then Kanye went on The Breakfast Club and said about Amber Rose, quote, "It's very hard for a woman to be with a man who's dated Amber," and apparently he had to take 30 showers before he got with Kim. Kanye also discussed Tyga's relationship with Kylie and said he thought Tyga got in early and that Tyga was smart. Amber responded by tweeting the craziest thing I've ever seen, quote, "Aw, Kanye West, are you mad I'm not playing around in your anymore? Hashtag fingers in the." So very messy stuff. Later, Amber admitted that she regretted those tweets. And at number 3, Pete Davidson. Since Kim has started publicly dating Pete Davidson following her divorce from Kanye, Kanye's latest target is Pete, because it's clear that Kanye wants Kim back and Pete is now standing in the way. In a track released last week by West and The Game, Ye rapped, quote, "God saved me from that crash just so I can beat Pete Davidson's," referring to his 2002 car crash. Kanye also trashed Kim during an interview, saying, quote, "How you gonna bring me to SNL then kiss the dude you're dating right in front of me?" But apparently Pete is not worried over the threats and thinks they are hilarious. A source said, quote, "Pete thinks it's totally hilarious. Not just that, he thinks the whole tabloid drama with him, West, and Kardashian is hilarious. He loves it." Apparently the newfound feud with Kanye has even brought Pete and Kim closer together. Pete also just confirmed that Kim is his girlfriend. And at number 2, 50 Cent. Yet another rapper Kanye has feuded with was 50 Cent. It started back in 2007 when Kanye changed the release date of his upcoming album to be the exact same as 50 Cent's, Very Shady. Originally it was supposed to drop on September 18th, but Kanye moved it up 1 week to be on the 11th. Graduation sold close to 1 million units and easily beat out 50 Cent, who only sold 691,000 copies. This was a huge moment in Kanye's career, and many say this moment he officially became the king of rap. At that time, 50 Cent said he would never release a solo album again if Graduation beat out Curtis, but when it did, he did not keep his promise, and he's released multiple albums since. Then in 2019, 50 Cent stirred up more trouble by making fun of Kanye's clothing line, saying, quote, "What in the spare some change type is this?" And finally at number 1, Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake and Kanye got into a strange feud after Kanye accused Timberlake of crying after he didn't win a Grammy. While he was speaking at the 2015 MTV VMAs, Kanye spoke of a moment that they had at the Grammys. He said, quote, "I sat at the Grammys and saw Justin Timberlake and CeeLo Green lose. And bro, Justin, I'm not trying to put you on blast, but I saw that man in tears. And I was thinking he deserved to win Album of the Year. In the small box that we are of entertainers of the evening, how could you explain that?" Some fans supported Kanye's comments, because he did compliment Timberlake by saying that he should have won Album of the Year, although many felt he put Timberlake on blast. Timberlake then gave a shady response to this speech, writing on Twitter, quote, "Kanye is so cute, y'all." But after a lot of backlash from Kanye's fans, Timberlake later tweeted in support of Kanye.
According to multiple sources, the couple has been in marriage counseling and the topic of divorce has been in talks for much of 2020. Sources close to the family with direct knowledge told TMZ that the marriage was in deep trouble for the last half of 2020 in particular. Kim was ready to pull the plug on the relationship at one point, but that was right when Kanye began to have a very public and serious bipolar episode. It's been clear from photos and videos posted online that the couple have already been living separately for a few months now. Kanye has been spending a majority of his time at a massive ranch he purchased in Wyoming, while Kim has been at her home in Calabasas with the kids to finish up filming Keeping Up with the Kardashians. However, even with that show coming to a close, both Kim and Kanye have been absorbed in their own personal business projects and therefore didn't have the time to focus on major life decisions like getting a divorce. Multiple sources also said that Kim has gone back and forth with what to do. At times she believed that divorce was the only option, but other times she still believed that there was a chance at reconciliation. Hence the family vacation that they all went on together late last year. That was purely meant to see if taking a break from their personal work would help repair things things between them, but with 4 small kids involved as well, you can understand why Kim desperately wanted to repair that marriage. Another source who is allegedly close to the family told People magazine, he knows that she's done, she's had enough, and she told him that she wants some space to figure out her future, adding, he's okay, he's sad, but okay. He knows the inevitable will happen, and he knows that it's coming soon. In addition to that, Page 6 ran a story on Tuesday that said that the pair were in settlement talks and the divorce was imminent, although no official documents or statements have been made on the matter. So despite Kim and Kanye having major relationship issues, they still haven't confirmed the divorce officially. Now I wouldn't bet against it, but I also don't want to say that this is happening 100%. Kim does have a celebrity divorce lawyer, Laura Wasser, on retainer, but she's been there for years and for a number of other reasons, I'm sure. Although the subject of divorce was discussed with her months ago, Kim still has never given her the green light to file it. Apparently the pair are not contentious or rude with each other, but they do have a lot of differences that range from their political views to just overall lifestyle choices. Each of the sources also wanted to make it clear that no third party was involved, so this isn't going to be some juicy cheating scandal as well. The source also told People magazine, it's the same thing over and over and over again. He's on very thin ice with her right now, and she's truly trying to decide what to do to protect the kids, but also her own sanity. The whole thing is discouraging and difficult for her. I can't even imagine the immense pressure to have 4 kids, your marriage isn't working, and now you have to go through all of this with everyone watching. Either way, I hope that they can both find some peace, and if that means splitting up so that they both can grow, I say go with that. However, only Kim and Kanye know what's best for the relationship, and if anything changes, we will be the first to let you know.